Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Day in History, our nightly look back at a specific day in history, where we take a look back at a specific day in history, examine the events of that day, the historical context in which those events took place, and the historical ramifications of those events. And we also take a look at some people that were born and some people that died on that day. As always, if you have not yet, please hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon, to be alerted anytime I post new content, and please tell a friend. And now, without any further ado, this day in history, March the 12th. And on this day, in 1933, FDR delivered his first fireside chat with the American people. An estimated 60 million people listened to the chat, delivered from the White House. For the first time, so many Americans were able to hear the chief executive, and he spoke in terms that many Americans could understand, and with a sense of confidence that reassured the public. His chats went through various vetting by staff and aides to ensure accuracy and clarity. He only delivered 30, though, during his 12-year presidency. Many people believe they were a weekly occurrence. They were not. And they were always of serious impact. And it is the forerunner to the modern-day Oval Office addresses that presidents deliver. We have seen this very recently in our history. As I record this video, we had one just last night, and it is only the second in the 3-year administration of the current president. We also see that some people compare him to the weekly radio address. I would not. Unless you're a huge presidential historian buff, no one cares about the weekly presidential addresses that are the ones that are the radio addresses. They're a non-factor. I'm a huge political buff and follower of news, and even I could care less about the weekly radio presidential address. And I think it cheapens it. Because, like I said, he was in office for 12 years and only delivered 30 of them. But the big thing was, he reassured Americans, and he spoke with a sense of confidence and ease that let them know that even though things may be challenging and trying, that they would get through. And he's a damn effective president. He was a damn effective president. He really was. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Births that occurred on this day. In 1947, Willard Mitt Romney was born in Detroit, Michigan. Romney, of course, was the governor of Massachusetts from 2003 to 2007. He was a GOP candidate for president in 2008 and was the nominee of the Republican Party in 2012. His father served as governor of Michigan and also Richard Nixon's Housing and Urban Development Secretary. In 2012, when he was the nominee for president, he lost the general election to the incumbent President Barack Obama by an electoral tally of 332 to 206 and a popular vote percentage of Obama's 51.1% to Romney's 47.2%. Since 2019, he has served as a senator from the state of Utah, and he is the only senator in history to vote for conviction of a president of his own party in a Senate impeachment trial. He voted, of course, for Article 1 and against Article 2 in the impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump. He, of course, has been a loud critic of the president, and is a rarity inside the modern-day Republican Party as that. And in the interest of full disclosure, I did vote for Mitt Romney for president in 2012 and donated money to his 2018 Senate run. I believe Mitt Romney is an honorable public servant. And an interesting debate I would love to have with people is, an Obama loyalist is, if you could give up the second term of Obama for 2 terms of Mitt Romney, which would mean Donald Trump doesn't become president, would you take the trade? You possibly win the House in 2014, probably keep the Senate, Romney wins a second term, and you hold the House and Senate, and it's an interesting argument I would love to have with Democrats, and also be interesting to see how history played out. But it would also mean that Donald Trump doesn't become president. Deaths that occurred. On this day, in 1929, at the age of 77, in Atlanta, Georgia, Asa Griggs Candler died. In 1888, Mr. Candler bought the recipe for Coca-Cola and founded the company in 1892 and served as mayor of Atlanta from 1917 until 1919. He was huge in the development of Atlanta, into really bringing Atlanta to where it needed to be to become the modern day city as it is. He was a huge philanthropist, and he donated $7 million to Emory University. That is all for this evening. A quick note. The week of March 22nd, I was supposed to go on a vacation, a trip to Washington, D.C. Well, if you've been watching the news, that's not a wise decision to take right now. And out of abundance of caution, and really for the safety of everyone, I have rescheduled that trip. But to keep your videos coming, I was going to record a little peek behind the veil here. Next week, at some point, I was going to record the videos for that week and schedule them to be released while I was on my trip. Well, now that's not the case. So, I'm going to do some videos that might be of a little different format on the day in history that week, because I will be on vacation, and I can do a lot more research into those days than I currently do. So we will maybe have some expanded videos on that day. But because of the situation in this country right now, with this rapidly changing virus and pandemic that we have, I have rescheduled my trip. And if you have a trip scheduled, you should do it as well. We need people to be safe. Please, and if you are experiencing symptoms of this virus, please go get tested if you can. Please do not go out into public and cause other people to get sick. We need to come together as Americans right now and as the world so that this doesn't get worse than it already is. And hopefully in the summer we can all look back on this and say, wow, that was great. We came together as a world community and solved and saved so many lives. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.